It's Roxy here, your favorite real estate agent, and I'm here with a great friend of mine who's going to tell us some information about appraisal process.
I'm Natalie J. I've been appraising out here since 2007, so a long time. And I am just excited to talk to you and fill you in about appraisals.
Awesome! So much for coming to film.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited about it. I guess just starting off with like a little icebreaker. So, what made you become an appraiser?
So, the industry is interesting. Yeah, say that 3 times real fast.
Yeah.
Most appraisers get into the business because they have family members that are in the business.
Makes sense.
And that was the case with me. My mom and dad were both appraisers. They ran a big appraisal firm back in the 80s, and they closed that one but continued to appraise for a long time. They actually trained me.
Oh, wow.
That's because you got to have somebody to train you.
Yeah.
So they trained me, and then they closed their business and came to work for me. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. Fancy, I see. So, what are the steps when you're becoming an appraiser? Because I know you mentioned like they trained you in that kind of
Yes.
thing.
So right now you have to have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what it's in, strangely enough.
Yeah.
There's some discussion about changing that.
Make it a
Um,
little more fun.
There's other ways you can do a certain number of college hours that have to do with real estate or business classes. That's another option. But you have to have enough college work. And then on top of that, you have to have appraisal classes.
Okay.
So, and there's different levels of licensing. So for each level, there's more hours required. And then on top of that, you have to find a mentor or a supervisor who will kind of show you the ropes, get you working. So you're basically like an apprentice.
Yeah.
When I did it, it took an average of 3 years to become fully certified to be a certified residential. And now they've lowered the requirements, so you could probably get it done in 2. It takes a minute though. It's not easy.
No, yeah, definitely. That is awesome. I had no idea that it was like that intense to become an appraiser and everything, because I know a lot of other fields related in real estate and stuff. It's like, oh, you just take a 63-hour course.
Take a test and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool that it is that much more intensive and everything like that. Who reaches out to you to do the appraisals? Because I know that's a question I get asked all.
Okay, so if you're talking about mortgage lending, that's what people are most familiar with.
Yeah.
Then it's either the mortgage company directly, which is not as often anymore, or it's these companies called appraisal management companies, or AMCs. So they act like a middleman.
Okay, yeah.
So HVCC came out, and then the Dodd-Frank Act, and it wanted to put separation between the loan officers and the appraisers.
Yeah.
So appraisal management companies will get qualified appraisers on their panel, and then they just treat them like a round robin.
Makes
So that
sense.
way you can't.
There's no like under table
Yes.
shady business.
It makes the process a little clunkier, so there's more
Yeah.
opportunities for miscommunication.
That's fun.
Yeah. But we try to make sure that we can cut through the lines if we need to.
Yeah, that's nice. So it at least isn't like just a wall of between
Right.
the transactions.
Right.
So it's definitely not good or anything like that. And another question I get asked all the time, which seems very simple to being in the real estate field, but it's why can't buyers pick their appraiser? Because I know.
Well, that has to do with the separation. Nobody wants anybody to pick the appraiser
Yeah.
because the buyer has a vested interest in the property
Mm-hmm.
and the seller has a vested interest in the property
Exactly.
and the transaction. And the loan officer has a financial interest in trying to close the deal.
Yeah.
And the real estate agent has a financial interest in making sure the deal closes.
Exactly.
The only person that is involved anywhere in the transaction that does not care or is not supposed to care if it closes or
Yeah.
not is the appraiser.
Is the appraiser.
And we're put there for safety,
Yeah.
even though not everybody likes it.
No, yeah, exactly. You guys catch a lot of hate for no
Yes,
reason,
we
which
do.
is another reason I wanted to do this video, because it's not your fault.
Right. That's true.
But yeah, so I know a lot of people ask me that all the time, and that is exactly why. It's because you're not just gonna pick your person that's gonna fit your
That's
side.
gonna tell your story.
Exactly.
Yeah. You gotta
Because
find
that's
somebody
not-
to tell the whole story.
It's not gonna work out
Right.
the best, and then our market would be like
Yes.
all over the place. So definitely would not be reliable information at all. And I know that this one is so much fun to talk about, and you probably get asked it all of the time. Like the second people find out you're an appraiser, is what adds the most value to a house.
Right.
Yeah.
So what adds the most value to a house? Just in general, or are we talking like updating or something?
Yeah, just like updating or anything like that. Like if they are first-time home buyers, they just buy it and they're like, what can I do that's going to make me get the most return on it, kind of thing.
Kitchen and bathrooms. I'm sure that's the same thing that agents
Yeah,
say too. You're going to get the
exactly.
most return on your investment in the kitchen and in the bathrooms.
Yes. And that, yes, I cannot stress that enough. People, please update your kitchens and your bathrooms,
Yes.
because it is definitely going to help you sell your house, and you can do it yourself. Like it's not
So
impossible.
right. It's interesting, because we go into all kinds of houses, and we'll go into houses that have been painted and they've got new flooring everywhere, but the kitchen and the bathrooms are dated.
Yeah.
So technically the house has been updated, but it's not really been renovated.
Remodeled. Yeah.
So there is a difference, and we note that, and
Yeah.
we take notice of that.
Exactly, guys. Don't pay attention to the flooring as much as the kitchen and the bathrooms. If we're gonna get new floors, we better not see tile bathrooms. Absolutely not. Gotta love the tile bathrooms.
That's right. Unless you're going for the retro look.
Yeah,
That is an
unless
opinion.
it's a theme. And then, what is the most common thing that you see people do all the time that they think adds all of this value, but actually doesn't add that much?
Okay. This is a good question. Nobody's ever actually asked me this before, but I love the question. So we will show up at a house, and a lot of times it's a refinance.
Yeah.
It's not a sales transaction.
They fix it up and trying to get the money out. Yeah.
Yes. And the homeowner will follow us around. It's your house.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they'll tell us about, okay, they built the house with steel beams instead of wood, or
Mhm.
they put the floor joists closer together, or they put
Yeah.
whatever closer together.
Mhm.
Special types of construction, special types of wiring, all of that it makes the house safer, or more sturdy.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, you have to think, when you're talking about adding value to a house, you have to think about what most people are willing to spend
Yeah.
money on, and where they're willing to spend money. So if the steel beams and the closer floor joists or whatever are important to you,
Mm-hmm.
then great, spend the money.
If it is your house and
Yes.
you are terrified it's going to blow away,
That's right.
go crazy.
I'm just saying, you're not always going to see a return on your investment
Yeah.
when you go to sell it.
Exactly. And that's why I also wanted to ask this question, because as a real estate agent, you go and you help people come up with comps, and like they talk about purchase price and all of that thing. And I'll have a lot of clients, especially that do kind of like their refurbish the house or something like that. And they'll talk about, well, we have the steel beams and we have all these choices. Or another common one that I've seen a lot lately is in the attics. They'll do a special
The spray foam
yeah,
insulation.
to make it like cooler and everything
Yeah.
like that. And it adds value to a point, but you're not going to get what you spent to put that in the house.
Right,
Because
that's true.
those are not those are not cheap things to do.
Yeah, or windows. People will tell me about their upgraded windows, and I'm like, I just need your house to have windows
Yeah.
that function,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
because most people are not going, well, those are these kind of windows, and these are that kind of windows.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to pay more for this house because of the windows.
or the joists being
Right. I mean, it's
stuff
just,
like that.
Yeah.
So pay attention to the kitchen and the bathrooms. Do those things. No one gives a crap about your windows. Could be one buyer in there that spent $50,000 more because you have closer choices and better windows.
That's right.
we're just going to target that person.
That's right.
In our marketing. What would you recommend people do not do to add value to their house?
So I was thinking about this one.
Like if it's your house and that's what you want, I would say go for it.
Again, yeah, keep in mind what your purpose is. So is your purpose to enjoy your house and this is what you want and you're willing to spend the money on it, then it just has to be worth it to you.
Yeah.
And if your purpose is for your house to be an investment, that's a different question.
Refinancing.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you just want to do what is expected in the market.
Yeah.
You look around your market and you try to make your house a little bit better than them.
Than everybody else.
Yeah.
So what is the best time to get an appraiser out to a property once you're under contract?
Close to the beginning of the deal as you can.
Thank you.
But that's not really up to anybody other than when is the mortgage lender going to order it.
Exactly.
And as I explained with the AMCs, so the lender might send the order to the AMC and it might take the AMC a few days to place it with an appraiser. Office, we don't. We try to turn everything within a week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I always recommend you guys is to the second we get under contract and everything like that, you need to be hitting up your lender and getting that scheduled. Because like she said, it can take a while. It may take 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we even get a person. And it's nice to know if we're going to have an issue before we're at the end of the contract.
Yes.
And people argue the appraisal once it's completed.
Okay, so I liked the way you phrased that because that's the way everybody feels is they want to argue.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes, you can. Okay. You can dispute it and you can request a reconsideration of value. However, there are certain things you should be aware of.
Yes.
If you're going to request a reconsideration of value, you really need to know what you're talking about. The lenders want comparable sales that are probably more recent than what we use.
Yeah.
Or closer in proximity, or in other words, if we've used the closest sales and the most recent and they're similar, why are you going to ask us to use something from 5 miles away that closed 6 months ago? It's not. There could be a market difference there.
Yeah. Especially right now, where there's like the interest rates just went up in like a couple months, and it's just completely changed everything. So
so just and be. I always tell people, submit your information and just be kind, courteous, and respectful.
Exactly. These people go through a lot of education to get to where they are. You guys do catch a lot of backlash on things, and it's just honestly like you could be just doing a better job at comping a property than somebody else may have done and everything like that. So
and we miss it. I mean, we're still humans. We're trained. We're practicing. We get better as we go on in our profession. Individually, individual appraisers, you'll get better, but we'll miss it sometimes. You've got 20 reports you're trying to get out the door, and we might miss something, and then so we'll take a look at it and determine, oh yeah, we did, or no, I don't really think we did.
Yeah, exactly. So. But it is nice to know that that is something that's available to people, that you can question it, but everybody just love everyone and be nice and go open-minded, because that's the only thing to this question a lot. And so can people hire appraisers to give them an estimate on the price of their home before they list it? Yes.
So that would be a pre-listing appraisal.
Yeah.
And we do those a lot for people. Usually we do them, usually realtors will reach out to us. Because either they're having trouble comping it out. It might be a really unique property, maybe the location, or there's just no sales. For whatever reason they can't. Or on occasion they'll have a seller who's not being reasonable.
Yes.
And
or those steel beams. Had 50 grand to this house.
So we do those.
Yeah, and that is awesome because I know that it helps in both situations where you are the seller and you are the real estate agent, because it helps eliminate that what if it doesn't appraise? what if it appraises for more and we're not putting the full potential of the house
Yeah.
out there? So that is really great. So I definitely recommend you guys in the future, because if you do have a unique property, and a lot of you people here do, with your custom beauties,
Yes.
then it is great to do that kind of thing. So now, kind of feeding into what we had just talked about, what would you say is the most common misconception about appraisals or appraisers in general?
It's just a lack of understanding about the amount of training that an appraiser has to go through.
Oh, I certainly did.
So if we've taken all these classes and we've been out in the field and we have a lot of expectations on us. We have our again, our governing the use path. We have to follow use path, and that's just how to do a good appraisal, right? But we also have to meet all of the lender requirements. So the lenders put extra requirements on us that we have to deal with in the report. And so people will look at a report and they'll be like, I don't understand why that house is in there. And there's probably a very specific reason that that house is in there that doesn't really make sense. It could be, and it could be because the lender required, because you have a dog run in your backyard, right?
Yeah.
They required us to find something with a dog run or something else similar. But there is a lot of thinking and analysis that goes into appraisals, and I just don't think people can appreciate why we did what we did.
Why it is the way that it is.
Yeah.
But I believe that's all the questions I had for you, at least for today. Everything, but it was so great speaking with you, and I am so excited to share all this information. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some knowledge out of that. And if you ever have any questions about appraisal or anything, just leave it in a comment below.
Bye.